Hello, this is Lord's Legion and welcome to a brand new movie review, and this one is a really special case because I've been keeping a secret for quite a while now. And the truth is, I was actually in the test screening for the New Mutants, or at the very least the original cut. But for the longest time I wasn't allowed to talk about this because this was going to be the original and only cut for the New Mutants. But ever since Fox wanted to reshoot a whole lot of things as well as add new material for the New Mutants, they were like, you know what, you may as well talk about the original cut, so I may as well just talk about it right here now and give you my thoughts on what the original cut was like. Now this is a pretty interesting one because the movie centers around 5 young mutants who are incredibly dangerous and they're kept under a secret facility against their will. But the interesting thing is that the person who is keeping them all into this secret facility, who you all know as Cecilia Reyes, she is actually trying to mentor these new mutants through psychological torture and is trying to defend these teenagers from the creature known as the Demon Bear. As the Demon Bear wants to feed on the new mutants' fears and hopefully become powerful enough to destroy the world. Now in terms of the story, it's pretty much straightforward and I actually quite like the premise because it's pretty similar to the X-Men but it's in a much darker take. But what really harmed this movie was the fact that the main characters were pretty forgettable with only 2 exceptions. Now the first character that I'm going to be giving some praise is of course Magic, who is portrayed by Anya Taylor-Joy. Because truth be told, she was the star of this movie and she was so amazing on just about every level. Magic is the psychotic loner character who really doesn't care about anyone, but she does get some legitimate character development in there as well, and she's probably the most genuine character in the entire film. Plus her backstory is very fascinating and they even do a subtle hint towards her being related to Colossus. Hell, even the Soul Sword is in this movie and she can even transform her arm into a more metallic arm. And during the final battle, Magic actually transforms into a more demonic form, which does somewhat resemble the Marvel Now comics. The only other character I really like in this film is of course Wolfsbane, played by Maisie Williams, because she was such a really interesting character. She was always treated as this monster and that's why she always isolates herself from everyone else, and not to mention, while in her Wolfsbane form she is uncontrollable. And speaking of her Wolfsbane form, the overall design was pretty much retro, but at the same time it does have that more modern take. And what's really cool about Wolfsbane's design is the fact that it was mostly done through practical effects and makeup, but it also had some CG enhancements in there as well. As for the rest of the characters, like I said, they're pretty much either bland or unlikable. Someone on the more unlikable side is of course Cannonball, portrayed by Charlie Heaton, as he was just this druggy douchebag. And you could just tell that this actor was on drugs during filming, and no wonder he suffered from all that scandal. And then we also have Henry Saga as Sunspot, and let's just say he was pretty much wasted and the film didn't really need him at all. And it's quite unfortunate because Henry Saga did actually try with this role. And we also have Blue Hunt as Mirage, and she was quite bizarre because she was both a Mary Sue while at the same time this incredible physical embodiment of a MacGuffin. It was like she was just this physical key into beating Demon Bear, and it was so weird. And it really sucks because she didn't even feel like a character at all. And not to mention we also have Cecilia Reyes, who is portrayed by Elise Brager, who to me was just completely unbelievable because in the first act she seemed like the main villain, but then all of a sudden in the second act they do a complete 180 with her character and she became the good guy. And I knew that they were going to do that in the first place, but to me it just didn't even come across well. And then we also have Demon Bear in this film, and he was very interesting because for the majority of the film, Demon Bear was shrouded in dark mist with glowing red eyes. And then when we finally get to see the real Demon Bear in the flesh, his design is absolutely spot on from the one from the comics. But by far the most interesting thing about Demon Bear in this movie is the fact that the person who voices him is none other than Ron Perlman. And I've got to say, Ron Perlman does a really chilling performance as Demon Bear. And although the CG wasn't 100% completely rendered in this original showing, it was crystal clear that Demon Bear looked incredible regardless. And some of the things Demon Bear does in this movie is so brutal and dark, and I've gotta say, after seeing that performance, Demon Bear could easily be the darkest villain in a comic book film I have ever seen. And before anyone asks, yes, Mr. Sinister does make it in the post-credits scene, and Jon Hamm still plays as the character in this scene. Though don't expect him to wear his full-on costume, as a matter of fact he is only really seen in a suit. However, my main criticism about the New Mutants is the fact that it didn't know whether to be a superhero movie or a horror movie, and instead it has this weird tonal shift. And yeah, it did have some creepy imagery here and there, but for the most part I didn't think the New Mutants was really that scary. And plus the pacing of the story was pretty messy to say the least, and even some of the character motivations just shift from scene to scene for the majority of the time. I wouldn't say it was necessarily as messy as something like Batman v Superman or even the Justice League, but it was pretty noticeable at points. But overall, despite its flaws, I thought that the New Mutants, at least the original cut of the New Mutants, was fairly enjoyable for what it was. And obviously I'm not going to give this one a rating because, you know, this was only the original cut and chances are majority of it will be changed within massive reshoots. And after seeing the original cut, it is safe to say that I do understand as to why they wanted to delay the film and do a lot of reshoots. So after telling you guys on the original cut of the New Mutants, how do you personally feel about some of the descriptions that I just told you guys? Would you still want to see the original cut regardless, or are you glad that the New Mutants in general will be delayed ever more? Comment below and share some thoughts, and as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, take care and have a good one.